Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, Gungans and Droids. I am joined yet again with Mobile Gamer, and we're inside the archives today because, man, oh man, episode 3 of Kenobi. Woo! We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we want to thank you guys for the overwhelming support you guys gave us on the last video. Holy cow, very impressive. Glad you guys enjoyed it. It's fun talking about this stuff, so make sure you hit that like again, because we have another giveaway at the end of the video, and this time from Dave Filoni, not Jon Favreau. Can you believe it? We're going to start off with non-spoilers, and then we're going to transition to spoilers just like last time. And I'm going to pass it over to my host. What did the archives tell you about episode 3 of Kenobi, and what's your rating out of 5 stars?
I still think it's like a 4.5, 4. I think there's room for improvement. It wasn't a 5, it didn't change my life, but I definitely want to watch the 4th episode. I'm definitely interested in continuing and watching it. Like, it's great. I'm enjoying it.
Majority said 5 stars for the first episode. I wasn't quite at 5 stars. I couldn't see 5 stars before. 4 stars was kind of pushing it for me, but now I think I'm at a 4.5 with this episode right here. Of course, still some problems, still nitpicks, but I gotta say this. I sat there and I didn't feel like I was being pulled out of the moment. I just like, oh gosh, that was bad. It wasn't like I wasn't completely annoyed or thrown off. And is it spoilers to say that is in the Kenobi show?
It's kind of weird. I think people want to know when he's going to show up. Is the spoiler, right?
Now, let's just say this: a very popular character in cinematic history showed up, and bam! Wow, some of the darkest stuff I've seen Disney put out, and I'm all for it. We've been seeing, especially like even Marvel.
You mean dark? Dark like DC? DC, you can't see the screen? My goodness.
Yeah, it was dark in terms of cinematics and dark in terms of a very specific character showing up here. And I've been actually really enjoying this. Warning, warning, spoiler, warning. Darth Vader's in Kenobi. All right.
Yeah, that was definitely, they carried that entire episode.
I was surprised that we were going to see, I mean, this is jumping to the very end. I want to start from the beginning here, but I was surprised that we saw the Kenobi-Vader conflict this early. I'm hoping this isn't the only time we're going to see them in the Kenobi show. I'm hoping there's going to be one more confrontation here, and we're going to get to that fight. Some people were left disappointed with the first Kenobi-Vader fight, and I kind of think it makes sense.
Definitely Vader is carrying it at this point as far as the villain role. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
However, one of the main complaints when we first started hearing Vader show up is that it didn't sound like Vader. That's one of the main complaints here. I'll play the clip here so you guys can hear it and compare it to something else.
Oh, I absolutely went, they couldn't get James Earl Jones? That's like the first thing I thought. I was like, something sounds wrong. And then for like the first couple of seconds, I literally was like, starting to get on my phone. Is like, did they not cast James Earl Jones? And then, or I was thinking like, how old is he? That's what I was thinking when I first heard it. And then it was him, but it took like 2 sentences for it to sound right.
Join me, and I will complete your training.
Where is he? The Grand Inquisitor means nothing. Kenobi is all that matters now.
We see Vader talking to Reva here. And one of my complaints that we had in the first episode here, the first 2 episodes, was Reva's really annoying, off-putting. I didn't like her as a character. And if that's the goal, then they're doing a good job with the direction here.
I feel like Reva is they're setting her in a light to be like a disposable character. Like you're not supposed to like her, and she's just gonna die, tragically at the end, and that's that. I mean, I feel like they very much made her disposable. I mean, I have no attachment to her whatsoever. And it's not getting better. No,
it's not getting better. It was just the first episode's like it annoyed me. This time, maybe I'm used to it in the 3rd episode in. I have a different thing. I think they're gonna try to redeem Reva. I feel like maybe she's gonna finally have her moment with Kenobi.
They're not setting that up. It feels like that they're doing like the pitfall that a lot of superhero movies do, or the bad guys are bad guys for the sake of being bad guys, and there's no reason or why. They're baddies, and I feel like she is very one-dimensional.
And so one of the concerns that people had, and we talked about it, is the Grand Inquisitor dead? And I think the way they had the dialogue run, it's meant to lead just a live audience hanging, but for you and me who's watched Rebels and many other people out there, I think it all but confirms that Grand Inquisitor is still alive, because when Reva she was basically trying to frame it that Kenobi took down the Grand Inquisitor, and she was about to say the Grand Inquisitor, or Kenobi will pay for the Grand Inquisitors, and then they cut him off. Instead of saying death, Vader steps in saying the Grand Inquisitor means nothing to me. So I think the Grand Inquisitor is still very much alive, but there's kind of this ticking time bomb, because if we think the Grand Inquisitor is still alive, I think there's going to be some big confrontation between the Grand Inquisitor and Reva at some point. There's no way that Rebels is turning into Legends. That's all I know. One of the drawbacks, again, it's very minor. You can still enjoy the episode. Some of the cinematography and virtual effects kind of seemed a little rough, like especially when there was a little beef going on between the fifth brother and Reva just like T-posed on the table.
It reminded me of that Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise came down from the ceiling and he's like trying to not touch the ground, and she's like she's like she had a rope tied under her back, and she's like trying to not touch the table because the laser's on the table or something. I don't understand what was going on there, but anyway.
I can't click with these Inquisitors, man. We already talked. I don't like the look of a lot of them, and they're not intimidating me. But let's get into the Mapuzo. What was the planet called? Mapuzo? The planet that they have, Mapuzo.
It's another desert planet. This is my backyard, anywhere in the Southwest, but those particular trees, the yucca trees, or I don't know if they're yuccas or Joshua's, either, it doesn't matter. They look very similar. They're all over the place, and it's a very specific look. And it for me, just because I'm from that part of the world, it was kind of distracting. It's like, that literally looks like my backyard.
I believe it's a new planet, because I looked it up, and it's the first entry about it was the Kenobi show. So this is the first appearance we're seeing this planet, and there are a couple of interesting Easter eggs, little details as well. Do you know the person when Kenobi had like a weird vision, he froze and he saw someone in a robe? Did you notice who that was?
Oh, it was Hayden Christensen, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's what I figured it was. I didn't Google it.
I like that they're implementing like these horror things, you know, like when you thought you saw a ghost or something like that, then you kind of freeze for a moment in time here.
But I did like the truck driver, right?
Freck,
I mean, for somebody, he seemed pretty cool, very charismatic, kind of quirky a little bit. And then, you know, there was an interesting encounter, you know, with the stormtroopers, and I was a little bit worried about, you know, like how far they're gonna take, you know, Obi-Wan's story arc, where, you know, he's got like survivor syndrome or something, right? Where like he's like finding his way back. You know, he's taken 10 years off of fighting. When is he gonna come back into his own? And largely you see that he comes back to that, not necessarily with a lightsaber, but with the blaster, right?
One slight annoyance going into the Freck sequence, Kenobi's got to get laid in place, man. I didn't like that Kenobi just letting her lead the show. It's like, it's a 10-year-old, you're the adult, you should be dictating what you're gonna do. Once we see Freck turn him in, I think that's the first time we're seeing Kenobi actually like fight back and kind of like open up a bit, and so it's
so then he, you know, and the favorite part of the whole episode, other than saving for the Darth Vader thing, is when the stormtrooper got sawed in half. I think that was fantastic. But he definitely was kind of a strange John Wick type moment, if you will. You know, he didn't whip out a lightsaber, and then when so they get through the gate, right, and that's fine, right, and then there's, you know, the Imperial officer, the 3 stormtroopers, and then he's down on his knees like, "Why, whip out your lightsaber?" I don't know, like, it seems so strange to me that he just took out 4 or 5 guards, and then now he's gonna back off from 4, right? I don't know, like, I felt like that would have been an easier battle. If it was 10 stormtroopers, maybe he'd be like, "Oh, okay," but it was 4, basically, an officer and 3 stormtroopers.
There's always this what's good and evil, right? It's a matter of perspective and point of view. But it's kind of sad hearing Kenobi's story about how he vaguely remembers his father, vaguely remembers his mother. He thinks he had a brother, but isn't it kind of messed up that Jedi just take children at a young age?
I had that feeling also. I was like, oh no, that sounds terrible.
That sounds horrible, yeah, right?
Well, I mean, wasn't that kind of what in episode 3, where you kind of like the Jedi are evil, you know what I mean, kind of storyline, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, okay.
It looks like they kind of created what I kind of took it to be like an underground railroad system for the Jedi. And this is chock full of a lot of interesting stuff here. Well, the one main name that was pointed out was Quinlan Voss. Do you remember who Quinlan Voss was?
No.
Yeah, so Quinlan Voss is canon, and I think the best way to describe it is you saw the Clone Wars TV show, obviously. There was a moment where Kenobi and Quinlan Voss band together to try to stop Cad Bane. Here, I'm going to send you a picture.
I have no idea what episode. I don't remember this episode
look
at
it
all.
up. Look up Quinlan Voss, and it's going to show up right away. If Tarzan was a Jedi, it would look like this.
Yeah. Okay. I remember now he had like dreadlocks.
But I got to give a shout out to Eckhart's Ladder and some Reddit comments I saw. Apparently, some people translated some of the text that was on the wall, because a lot of the Jedi who passed through, they etched their names there. And allegedly, these are some Jedi that are very well known inside of the Legends. So the question is, are we going to see them? Is this maybe a step into bringing some Legends characters as they're about to take this underground railroad to escape to safety and get off the planet? Man, I mean, remember when we saw Rogue One? And we're like, oh man, that was
exactly
brutal.
what I was thinking. Rogue One, yeah.
Do you think this was more brutal than Rogue One? Do you think Rogue One was more brutal?
Well, I think this was more slow, and but I remember saying this after seeing Rogue One. Wouldn't it be great just to see a whole series of Darth Vader stalk, like a horror show, stalking Jedi?
Yeah, like I felt this was more menacing than Rogue One. Rogue One, he had a military
for sure.
Yeah, he had a military opposition in his way, like they were actively trying to stop him. Whereas in this, it was just like nonsensical, senseless. Murder, death, like without even thinking, kills the father, snaps the one kid's neck. That scene where he's freaking dragging a body, like not even look, just dragging a body behind him. He knows Kenobi's there. He feels his presence, and he's just killing people just because they have nothing to do with the situation, just to get Kenobi out. And that was the moment where we see Kenobi kind of break that arc of, getting back to the Kenobi we know that's willing to put his life at risk. He's getting there. He's not fully there yet.
He's not there yet. Like, you feel like he's not unlocked, definitely not Clone Wars Kenobi at all, right?
No, not yet. The first fight that Anakin or Vader at this point.
An encounter? Would you even say it was a fight? Was it an encounter, maybe?
Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when Luke Skywalker...
Kenobi didn't fight back much. Like, I felt like he was just like stunned the entire fight.
He was stunned, overwhelmed, out of shape,
terrified.
But it reminded me of when Luke Skywalker tried to take on Vader on Bespin for the first time, and Vader just toyed with him, and Luke he stood no chance. We saw Kenobi finally turn the lightsaber. I was hoping for a more thematic, cinematic moment for turning it on, but he just turned on the lightsaber out of just impulse of being scared. I feel like they should have done. They should have put more cinematic emphasis on Kenobi turning on that lightsaber for the first time.
See, we saw Kenobi take on Maul recently, like in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And he just destroyed him, right? That was like pretty epic. We're not seeing that here.
No, yeah. This leads to Darth Vader then, where people are disappointed that he just didn't kill him. I mean, I think Vader, if he wanted to, he could have easily killed Kenobi if he wanted to. But where's the satisfaction at Vader?
Well, he wanted him brought in for some reason, right?
Yeah.
And that didn't happen.
Vader just like skate Kenobi just through the fire, and if there's a slight reference,
ridiculous.
Yeah, that was like, holy crap, this episode's really dark, both again from color and actual performance here. But some people are saying there's a little hint of Anakin Skywalker's scream when he's being burned.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought that was the whole point. Is like, you should have killed me. You left me out there to burn. You're going to experience the same pain as me. It felt like it was revenge. Like he wanted him to know what he's been going thing for the last 10 years.
I am surprised he didn't get more. Like his outfit didn't burn more. He didn't get more damage. One things people are saying is that he had a force aura, which kind of protected him more. I'm not sure if that's because he was sitting to fire for quite a while. He was cooking, and you would think he'd be a lot more damaged than he actually was. But of course, you can't have facial burns because he didn't have facial burns inside of A New Hope and Rebels.
I mean, I don't know that. I mean, his hair would have burnt instantly, right?
Yeah,
that's what I would have thought. Like your hair is like the first thing would go, but I guess that wouldn't have made sense for plot. You can't have like no beard Kenobi for the next episode.
Right. Vader could have easily like done a Moses moment, like just part the seas and part the
flame.
I
thought. I just like walk through the fire. You're Darth Vader.
I mean, it could just be bad directing, script writing. But I feel like it's just Vader playing with his food because where's this? Because I think Vader even knows that this isn't the Kenobi I fought at Mustafar 10 years ago. Where's the guy that I fought? This doesn't feel like the same person. So I feel like letting Kenobi go, rebuild to try to get back to the Kenobi that he was, would give Vader more satisfaction to killing the Kenobi that he remembered rather than this poor excuse of a Kenobi that he has no idea who this is now.
I feel like somebody said we need to have a scenario where we leave this on a cliffhanger and he barely gets away.
Yeah.
Why don't so how do we create the plot so that we can get to the end result of him escaping yet having an encounter? Oh, let's have an earthquake and have a ridge form beneath him. Oh, we already did that.
We already did that.
We already did that in Force Awakens.
And they can't do the high ground again, right?
No, they can't do that again either. So we have to do something different. You know, having a droid and one shooter, you know, basically a team of two, right?
Yeah.
Being able to pull him out of there and you know, stop them from getting through just seemed like very convenient, if you will.
Yes, I'm hoping that I'm right and Vader let them get away for the sake of what I mentioned. Any last thoughts you want to share about the game before we do the giveaway?
I can't wait. I don't have a giveaway. Do we have a giveaway?
Yeah, we always got a giveaway. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, for every like, you're gonna get a personally signed action figure by Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and Kenobi and Vader.
Freck?
Yeah.
Freck. Oh yeah, I like Freck. Not Seth Rogen. I thought it. Yeah. Anyways.
And
what was that guy's lips doing?
Oh,
what was he doing?
Yeah. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys are continuing to enjoy this. We have a lot of fun doing this, and it gives me a reason to make a video with Mobile Gamer. But until then, my friends, leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and always remember that it's great to be in the Empire today. Oh, did you notice that in the opening cinematic for the intro, there's a mouse droid? Like, come on, that's kind of awesome. Did you see? You know,
I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all.
There's a mouse droid in that opening intro.